Hey everybody, it's Gil here with the sailing vessel Dream Chaser, and in last week's episode we mentioned that we bought a little bit of a boat to go running around town, a power boat. The canal systems here in Punta Gorda are a great way to do that, and this video will give you a little bit of a taste of what that's like. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like when I was a teenager and you got a car. It was a big deal to go cruising Main Street. You know, you'd get in your car and you'd go up and down the street, turn around at the end and come back, and it was just a way to, you know, enjoy your time, hang out with friends, etc. Not very uncommon to that in the boat in the canal system here. Last week we also talked a little bit about preparing for Hurricane Dorian. Luckily for us, the high pressure system that was sitting out in the Atlantic continued to weaken, and as it weakened it allowed the hurricane to sort of make that turn to the north, the turn to the right, and unlike the early predictions that showed it coming straight across the state of Florida, kind of right across our area, she turned north and, as everybody knows at this point, went up the east coast, you know, kind of offshore a little bit. I guess the silver lining and the good news with the storm is, as it was coming, we wanted to make sure that we could get the boat that we just bought out of the water and protected. We don't have a trailer for it, and we knew we needed to get a bottom job done on it. We needed to have the old gel coat essentially you know, sanded down roughly, and then barrier coat applied and bottom paint because we're going to keep it in the water. And to do that work, we had to take it to a local yard. So kind of two birds, one stone, right? We reached out to the yard, said we needed to go ahead and get the boat work done. They were funny. They said, do you really need it worked on, or are you just saying that because you wanted the boat out of the water? Like, we get some people that do this. We're like, no, we really need it. Heck, we'll pay 50% of the money up front if you'll take it in now. So they did. We cruised over there and they hauled it up out of the water, and ultimately we got you know, the bottom painted as you saw in last week's video, and it's back in the water at this point. I will end up doing a proper video kind of showing you the whole boat, but you know, one of the nice things is while it was there, Deb did go ahead and order new canvas covers. This boat did not have canvas covers, but it had all new upholstery in it, and in order to protect that, she went ahead and got the cover that goes, you know, from the windshield to the bow, and then also one that covers for the base of the windshield up over the windshield and all the way to the you know, the back swim platform of this boat. Really nice. They kind of come on and come off. You can actually run around with the bow one on if you want, which we ended up doing. You'll see that in a little bit in this video as well. This week we have a hodgepodge of events that we're going to share with you. The first is we're going to do a little bit of cruising around in the boat, show you some of those canal systems in Punta Gorda. We spent a little bit of time in the pool with the girls, and the good news is Swab has a bit of a significant milestone here, so we're excited. Look, being back on terra firma and in a house means we're back to doing sort of house-based things, and it's very odd to me to not get up every Saturday morning and have a list of boat projects in my head that I need to go ahead and get done. Sadly, I still have that list of projects. I just need to do it when we get back on Dream Chaser and sail it over here the next few weeks or so. But, you know, we did a little bit of yard work, and I also take you along on a trip I take to Charleston, South Carolina. I went to a really cool couple of places, and that is a neat, quaint little town if you've never been to it. So, hope you guys enjoy this video. If you do, do us a favor, give it a thumbs up and a like.
Take your right hand, and I want you to push it. Hold it right in your hand. And take your thumb and push that down, but hold it the whole time. You gotta push it, hold it all the way in. Wait, don't let go. Look over. You see how when you let go it fell? Press and hold it all the way in. Okay. Over our head, and we're going to let go with our thumb, okay? You ready? 1, 2, 3. Good job. Keep reeling. All right, you got it.
Where's my swing?
It's right out there, see? He's swimming. You got to keep going.
Oh!
All right, hold on. Wait, stop right there. Let me get Grandma's off. No, he's still on there. Hold your pole. Hold your pole. 2 hands.
He's still on there. You just got my line, baby. That's all. He was swimming so much, he swam right into my line.
All right, go ahead, reel in. Ready?
Is he still there?
Oh, yeah, he's still there.
Yes.
Keep reeling.
Buddy.
Reel yours in, Deb. You might be stuck on that pole there. I can't tell. All right, keep going.
Mine?
Let's get close to the edge here. Oh, look at you! Might have just got the biggest one so far.
Oh, he's past me.
Yep. All right, stop right there. All right.
It's a catfish.
It is a catfish.
But he's not big. He's strong. Buddy, you can't go bow.
All right. Come here. Hold your rod.
Stop. Stop to me. Stop.
That might be a keeper.
Oh, no.
Look what you caught, McKinley. What'd you catch, McKinley?
Not this.
Turn around, let me get a picture.
Okay. You want to hold up the line?
Oh,
Here, you can hold it up here. It won't hurt you.
really?
Yeah, just here, hold the line.
No, baby, you won't.
You got it? You gotta hold it tight. It's gonna be heavier than just. There you
Oh
go.
my god.
He's heavy, huh? Show Grandma. Look at the camera. There she is. You gonna come swimming with us? All right, go to the camera.
Why are you all swimming at like 10 in the morning?
I don't know.
I just woke up.
I'm gonna keep my hands just outside of your. Come on, come on, come on! What are you doing? What did you just do? Come on. Hands too. Hands too. Hands too. Keep going. Keep going.
Alright, so I think this next video clip needs a little bit of context. When McKinley swims with the snorkel on, she loves doing it. But oftentimes we'll get in the pool and Jazzy will want to play Marco Polo or something. And you know, the object is somebody says Marco and has their eyes closed and everybody else has to say Polo, and they have to kind of figure out, play tag, sort of tag them without seeing them, right? Only doing it by sound. McKinley makes so much noise, not just the splashing and the moving around, but when she has the snorkel on, she grunts constantly. It is the strangest sounding thing in the world, and I got a little this video, but I don't know, man. The kid, I actually made a reference in here. I think I said something about a character on Saturday Night Live. It was not. It was actually on one of the other late night comedy shows of one of the characters, and for whatever reason, every time she makes that noise, it just reminds me of that character, and I start giggling like a moron.
She sounds like that character Pat from Saturday Night Live.
Oh, it's going under. It's going.
Keep cranking, keep cranking. Oh, you caught a little sunfish or something. All right.
Oh my.
All right, don't go up any higher. All right, let me
What
get
is
this. Here, hold
that?
them right there. Let me get that back.
Whose pole is this?
That's Grandpa's. Do you want to use it for fish?
What'd you get, McKinley?
I can't show you. He's right down there.
Here, let me do this. Here, let me see what pole's in it. I'm going to put a little bit of this line out so you can pick them up. Okay.
I don't want him to
Here.
get fit.
Here, hold the pole. I'll get them so you don't get any fish juice. Hold the pole.
She's worried about that fish juice.
Okay, you lift them up. Lift them all the way up. There
Oh!
you go. You want to hold them? It turns out what she caught was a nice little mangrove snapper. This one was a little bit small, but not far from the slot that are keepers, and supposed to be really good eating.
So we're having the pool cage put over the house, and it's going to go all the way over to that window. So all of this has to come out. Now the pool cage company is going to come in and take a bunch of it out, but I wanted some of these Boston ferns over here, this huge thicket of ferns. This is where Gil saw the snake, but I want to put some of these in pots. So I've been digging them up over the course of yesterday and today. This is what I dug up, and I'll be potting them later tonight. Right now the backyard's a little messy. So the fence line, so this is the canal, and that goes out to Charlotte Bay, which goes out to the Gulf of Mexico. And then over there is all the what's left of the bougainvillea. We've been cutting that down. Whew, and that's vicious stuff. So here we're gonna put some eureka palms, kind of give it that islandy feel. And then like all of this stuff right here is coming out, and then we're gonna redo this landscaping a little better. But this is home sweet home. This is the view from outside looking into the patio.
Well, after getting the boat back from the yard, we really wanted to go and take it out and do a little cruising around. honestly, I still need to get better at driving this boat. For whatever reason, I feel perfectly comfortable driving our big giant sailboat around. But with this thing, it seems a little harder to hold. Without a keel, it drifts more, and just heck, turning it around in the canal, I got to end up doing a multi-point turn like when you're learning how to drive. So while we wanted to take it out and kind of run around a little bit, the wind was blowing pretty strong in Charlotte Harbor, and we decided that instead let's just take it out for a little afternoon tool, and we decided to go through the canal system. So we'll kind of show you what that route looks like, and you'll get to see a couple of interesting things here. One, the direction that we go to leave our place and get out into big water. So we are from our canal, if we just go north, we're about 6 houses from the very end, and then we're in Charlotte Harbor. So our canal is a dead end at the south end, and at the north end goes into Charlotte Harbor, which means it is isolated. It doesn't connect anything else. So in order for us to run through the canal system here in Punta Gorda, we have to go out into Charlotte Harbor, and we just go down 3 canals. So it's kind of like going 3 blocks over from your street you live on. We basically just go 3 canals over and then head south. And from there, we can go through the entire canal system all the way through and kind of out by Ponce de Leon Park, or even out Alligator Creek, and we can really kind of tool all around here in Punta Gorda that way.
You can see in this video just how much water there is, what a canal system there is, and even if from like a Google satellite map, as we turn this thing north, that whole town is pretty much a water canal system, which is really cool. So once we drop the lines and push off the dock and just sort of head north, you can see it's not very far down to the end here. I'll speed this up a little bit. And it's funny how waves never appear as big in video as they are in real life. We've noticed that all these years of sailing Dream Chaser too. But we just feel so, frankly, blessed and lucky that we're able to have this place here. And you can see the palm trees. It's just beautiful looking. But once we're out of our canal, we are out in the harbor itself, and just kind of go in fast motion here, but going over a few canals, and I'll come back in one of the main inlets that leads to the rest of the canal system within Punta Gorda. And you can see the chop right here as well.
This gets a little wacky rough right here, bouncing off of that wall.
So after going through several miles of the canals and heading south, we started to go over near Ponce de Leon Park, and if we continue to head further south, right here we're starting to make the turn. Had we gone straight right here, we would have continued west and gone out into Charlotte Harbor from Ponce de Leon Park. But instead we're turning south down one of the primary canals here. As a matter of fact, I think you'll even see a boat turns in here right behind us. He's coming from Charlotte Harbor on in through Ponce de Leon Park. But what's cool is this is a pretty wide canal. It's probably a good 300, maybe 400 feet wide. And on one side, there's seawalls, so off on the side where Deb's sitting, and then on the side I'm on, it's all mangroves. So probably not a bad little spot for fishing right in here either. I would bet there's probably good redfish and mangrove snapper and whatnot. So we'll have to come down this way someday and just sort of drift along here real slowly, casting a line over toward the mangroves for a bit. So we tooled down here for a little bit, then turned around and went out the Ponce de Leon area just as a storm rolled in, so I'll show you that in a second. So we've now come out into this sort of channel system that goes through Ponce de Leon Park, and the wind was really starting to pick up right here, so I decided to go ahead and turn around. You can see I'm in the middle of my turn, and as I mentioned, I need to get better at driving this boat. I was trying to basically do like a 3-point turn, right? Turn the nose in one way, turn the drive all the way the other, back up, but the wind was blowing hard enough that I just couldn't get the stern to go up into the wind. So you'll see again, I'm pulling forward again, I'm cranking the wheel all the way over to the right, putting it in reverse, and you can see that the back end just isn't swinging around in the direction I ultimately need it to. So I was like, oh, I only have one choice here. I'm going to sort of gun it and forward a little bit just to get the boat to rotate around. Everybody's like, whoa. A little nerve-wracking, but I'm getting better at it, quite frankly. After my less than stellar U-turn over there in the open water, we turned and came back into the canals, and right as we did, it started raining for a little bit, but it didn't last long, so it was kind of nice. I figured it would be neat to just do a quick time lapse of the trip back, and then ultimately under the bridge, out into Charlotte Harbor, and then you'll see us kind of go south down into our canal, and ultimately tie up. So it gets a little bit rough here for a second, but in fast motion it looks funny. And again, a little better on that U-turn this time.
Well, they say making it by the hair of your chinny chin chin, so whew, just made it to the gate and it's playing before they close the door.
I just arrived in Charleston, South Carolina. This is the first time I've ever been here, so I'm actually looking forward to checking out the area. One of my coworkers is going to give me a little tour, and honestly, I'm really looking forward to seeing them. I haven't seen them in a little bit of time, and one of my coworkers is picking me up from the airport, and we're going to actually meet one of our other coworkers and his wife for lunch.
So Meg picked me up from the airport, and we drove all around downtown Charleston. It was kind of interesting. We had a whopping 35 minutes to get to the place we went for lunch. So she said, I'm going to give you the dime tour. Actually, we need to make it the 3-cent tour. But it was really very interesting. And what she showed me was really cool. This area that you see right here is called Rainbow Row. And it's named after the pastel colored homes that are right here. They were really just beautiful. A little bit plain on the front, like stucco looking, but the colors were really neat. And it's kind of cool. All these houses have like a little bit of a patio on the sides of them, and it has to do with the way that they used to tax homes back at that point in time, which is really kind of interesting as well. So as we went from Rainbow Row and continued on down the street, you'll see we passed a horse-drawn carriage right here, so I went ahead and stopped the film and started picking it back up as we got toward Battery Park. Battery Park are some very, very expensive and exclusive homes. Many multi-million dollars for these here. And you can kind of see, if you look at them like this one on the right, you'll see the column there. That porch actually faces the side because the number of windows facing the road was the tax base.
So in Charleston here, we're staying at this nice little resort marina right here on the water. And man, are the boats nice in here. Look at this thing, 350s on it. Definitely some big sailboats in here as well, but you can see this building with the red roof is the hotel I'm staying at. Man, it's nice. Look at this thing right here. Let me see if you can see this. That has 4 engines on it. Is it crazy or what? Beautiful boat though. Yeah, this is pretty cool. I don't know if you can see this. Let me see if I can back up a little bit. So there's a Midway class aircraft carrier, and you can go tour that, and then it's got all these boats here. It's really cool.
So after a day and a half of meetings, we ended up going out to dinner one night at a really cool place called Five Church, and it was actually a renovated Mariners church. All across the ceiling was actually the text from the book Art of War. A little bit interesting for a church, but what a cool place this was.
I ended up getting in here Wednesday morning, and one of my coworkers picked me up. She gave me sort of the nickel tour of downtown Charleston because she was from this area for a while. Now here it is. It's 4:50 in the morning on Friday morning. I am in the airport, but I get home at a decent hour. Got a couple of calls when I get home, and then I am calling it a weekend and get ready for I don't know what we'll end up doing. Some fun stuff here. Maybe going out in the boat, maybe doing some fishing. I don't know, but I'm looking forward to it either way. So this is kind of wild. If you've never been to the Atlanta airport, they have the plane train that you take from terminal to terminal. But if you don't take the plane train and you just decide to go ahead and walk across it, this is actually what you get. So there's jungle sounds in here and what looks like LED branches coming down off of the ceiling. And what's interesting is there's also video screens up on the ceiling that will have images of like birds and stuff flying by. It's very rainforesty, if you will. I gotta look down so I don't kill myself on the walking platforms. But the good news is I have now come from Charlotte. I am in Atlanta. I'm walking to my gate. Don't anticipate any issue because there's no weather in the areas where I'm taking off from or where I'm landing. and I will be home by midday. A couple of meetings, and I'm ready to start the weekend. So, roll on, Delta. No delays, no delays. I just arrived back in Fort Myers. It's good to be back in the South, back in the warmth, and the weekend's almost here. So, I did something I don't usually do, and that is I checked the bag. So, rather than going straight to the car, I've got to go to baggage claim. But one of my coworkers made fig jelly, and he said, "Do you check a bag or do you carry it on?" I'm like, "I normally carry it on." He's like, "Oh, I was going to give you some fig jelly to take home." I'm like, for that, I'll check a bag. So it's going to be cool.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this week's video, and please do join us next week as we start off the week with Sunday Fun Day. Thanks everybody for watching, and safe sailing.